February 2024, Lahore, a young woman was attacked by an angry mob that mistook the Arabic words written on her dress to be the verses from the Holy Quran. Fortunately enough for the woman, the police was able to rescue her right on time. The angry mob may have killed her had they gotten the chance. Such is the sorry state of affairs of our nation. This is one of the countless stories from a society that has chosen fear over hope and violence over peace. And this is one of the reasons why it is extremely crucial to talk about the topic of zero violence and building respectful and peaceful environments. Hello and Assalamu alaikum to all of you. This is Hoor Jamil. I am an ELT practitioner and a linguist who is currently working as the head of Foundation English Department at Denning Services Private Limited. Before I begin to speak about this topic, I would like to thank Women Ascension for providing me with an opportunity to talk about this matter, which is of utmost significance. Now, there are multiple causes why Pakistani society is an intolerant one. It starts with cultural norms, gender inequality, sectarianism, and ethnic divide. Deep-rooted patriarchal traditions have often marginalized Pakistani women and girls. Men tend to assert their dominance over women by displaying acts of physical violence. This is probably the reason why domestic violence is typically witnessed in Pakistani households. As far as sectarianism is concerned, unfortunately and sadly, Pakistan's history is brimming with episodes of bloodshed among different racial, ethnic, and linguistic groups. Under these circumstances, the society in general becomes an intolerant society. Another major problem that leads to violence and intolerance is the economic strain. Poverty and unemployment make people commit acts of violence. When people do not see opportunities provided to them, or when they feel as if they're not getting equal opportunities, they resort to violence, or they see violence as the only plausible option that is available to them. And such kind of individuals often resort to criminal activities as well. Now, the mention of criminal activities leads us to another factor that contributes to a non-violent society, which is weaker law enforcement. When law enforcement agencies and judicial systems are not trustworthy, people tend to take law into their hands, and then violence becomes a common thing in the society. It also develops a culture of impunity when people see violence getting unpunished. So these are some of the causes that are the causes which lead the society towards violence. Another thing that I feel is of real importance to talk about is the role of social media in this. Social media, we know that social media is something that contributes to misinformation, and hate speech again is pretty common because of this factor of anonymity. People anonymously can post anything against anyone at any time, and as a result, hate speech and negative discourse becomes common. Now, whenever I have this conversation with people, they usually pose one question. They ask that all these circumstances that we discussed earlier paint a disappointingly gloomy and despondent picture of our society. So is it too late for us? Is there no going back? The good news is it's never too late. There are ways with the help of which we can build a tolerant and non-violent society. Education and awareness, I believe, are the key factors in this regard. Education and awareness are the front runners in the race towards a non-violent society. Imagine schools across Pakistan not just teaching math, science, arts, and reading and writing, but also mutual respect, empathy, and tolerance to the young learners. Imagine young minds learning to resolve conflicts non-violently, learning to collaborate rather than compete, and learning to value diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. Education plays a key role in changing mindsets, and this is the reason that we need to include specifically designed courses in our educational curriculum to inculcate intercultural sensitivity and the ideas of tolerance and non-violence in the young minds. This has to be done not just at the primary level, but also at the tertiary level. Awareness workshops, seminars, webinars, and conferences can also prove to be instrumental in this regard. Workshops specifically centered around conflict resolution, dangers of extremism, tolerance, and peace have to be arranged at school, college, and university levels to develop the sense of understanding among students that violence and intolerance can turn out to be disastrous for the society in general. Another way with the help of which we can build a tolerant society is through community engagement. I believe community leaders need to sit together and talk about the differences between different religious, ethnic, and linguistic groups. In Karachi and Lahore in particular, interfaith dialogues and peace-building community activities have been hugely successful in breaking the barriers between different religions and ethnic groups. And this is the reason that it has to be done more frequently. Just imagine how stronger our society could be if these efforts became a norm. Another thing that we need to work towards is gender equality. It's important that we empower women, and it's important that we educate men and women both on the essence of equality and the idea of tolerance and respecting one another. A lot of NGOs and community groups have proved that when women are in the decision-making process, the communities thrive. And this is the reason that we have to empower Pakistani women and Pakistani girls. Another thing that we talked about earlier was the impact of social media. On one hand, if social media can fuel violence, on the other hand, social media also has the power to promote positive discourse. It's important that influencers, micro-influencers, and even everyday social media users post responsibly. Trending hashtags like every voice matters can encourage people to post stories of kindness, generosity, and tolerance, and as a result, it can create a ripple effect across the whole nation. Lastly, and most importantly, it is long overdue that we strengthen the legal frameworks and social services in our society. Strengthening law enforcement agencies is absolutely crucial. The people who commit violence, they need to be told that violence is not something that is going to go unpunished. They need to know that there will be consequences to committing the acts of violence. Social services like conflict resolution, counseling, and support groups for victims of violence are equally important so that we can build up a tolerant society. So to put everything in a nutshell, the journey towards a tolerant, inclusive, and non-violent society starts with each of us. Every small act of kindness, every conversation that is built upon understanding, and every moment when you choose respect over conflict brings us closer to the Pakistan that we all envision. The one where peace is not just a dream, but a reality. Together, we can break the cycle of violence and build a society where respect reigns supreme. The ultimate question now is, will we take the first step? Thank you so much.